A movement is underway by business leaders and academics to gain more local power for Cambridge. They want government to devolve more spending to the city to improve housing and roads.
The Case for Cambridge is an alliance of organisations wanting more power for the city so it can capitalise on its unique potential. The argument goes that without the investment, the whole UK economy will lose out. Why? Well, because global firms which would have invested in Cambridge will instead hop off to other countries where the infrastructure is good.
We can evidence that when Cambridge loses inward investment inquiries, companies will pop up in other parts of the world, whether it's the Americas, whether it's the Far East. We're not losing companies to Norwich, Milton Keynes or Peterborough. And actually the challenge is how do we attract companies into the wider geography and still recognise the benefit of Cambridge.
Mundipharma employs 1,200 people in Cambridge making drugs to relieve pain. But it's sometimes hard to attract top talent.
The natural questions are, where are my kids going to go to school? Are there spaces in schools for them? Where am I going to live? What's my house going to look like? What's my commute going to be? So there's a number of questions that are being asked that have become increasingly difficult to answer.
But if government gave Cambridge more control over its finances, bonds could be issued to investors.
We can't at the moment deliver a train station at Addenbrooke's or some of the rail investment we need. We can't at this stage have the freedom to borrow against our £1.4 billion worth of housing stock. The extra freedom, extra investment will generate the wealth but will also answer the problems that we've got.
With the government embracing regional devolution, Cambridge may be pushing at an open door. Richard Bond, BBC Look East.
Well, earlier I spoke to Alex Plant from the Case for Cambridge and asked him why it's important that the city takes more of its own financial decisions.
I think our argument would be, we've got a very special economy in Cambridge and the greater Cambridge area. We have more patents per head than the next 6 cities combined, and we have a feel for the constraints around housing, affordability of housing, around transport investment that comes from living and working locally, and that knowledge sits locally rather than in Whitehall. Therefore we think it's better for those decisions to be able to be taken closer to home.
So briefly, if money was no object, what does Cambridge need most?
I think what Cambridge needs most is probably investment that allows the new homes we need to come forward. I mean, I want my children to be able to have the choice of living and working in Cambridge, and the affordability of housing in the area at the moment, the unavailability of rental properties is a really big issue for us. So
transport? And
transport as well, absolutely. We need radical investment, transformative investment in transport that would allow us to move around the city in better ways than we can now. We need improvements in public transport, in rail, better cycling provision and roads as well. And so all of that would be far better done if we had decisions that we could control locally, but crucially if we had some control over the tax revenues that we generate in this city that could be invested in that transport infrastructure.
Alex Plant now.